Well, welcome to the Think Guys. The think tank, you guys. I'm starting off just like a typical stream. That's awesome. Hey, Shauna, how you doing? So, you guys, I want to talk about, I don't know, Brent Kopacka. I haven't looked into this guy a lot, but I'm having a hard time seeing that he could have been involved, but I mean, it's a possibility, right? He was unalived by that SWAT team not long after this happened at 1122. And, there's a couple other parallels. Like, they both come from Pennsylvania, which I thought was kind of odd. 10, 15 minutes away. And then when they end up moving to Washington, they end up moving like just a couple minutes away. It's pretty odd. I think they were called the Coffee House Apartments. And literally just down the street and around a corner, and you're at where Bryan was staying. I don't know. And I'm a little concerned that he was unalived, to be honest with you. It didn't sound, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it really didn't sound like he was doing that outside. It sounds like he was doing stuff in the apartment where he was by himself. I don't know. It just, what coincidences are, like, highly unlikely most of the time, right? So, wow. And I mean, this guy had been to, yes, that's exactly right, Dandy. Yeah, he sure did. And that's when, Bryan's head almost did the exorcist swing. His eyes bugged out and so, I mean, even his reaction was a little bit off, wasn't it? So I thought maybe we'd look into him a little bit. I mean, the guy, he was fighting Afghanistan. Sounds like he was fairly high ranking and maybe he had seen and done things that might be hard to live with. PTSD, I mean, I do not have PTSD from a war. Mine's more from things that have happened through life that were just kind of messed up. But with that said, when I have a reaction, it's nothing, my triggers are not what his triggers were. I don't know. It's just, are they that gun happy? Like, are they and then something else that I found interesting, the guy that showed up and actually unalived him was, so is he called a guard? He was one of the guys that worked at WSU. He was one of the security guards there. I think he was either the highest or right under, but still he was a security guard. So what is a security guard from Washington University doing at Brent Kopacka's house? He wasn't a student. He wasn't, yeah, campus security. Thank you. Campus security. So why was a guy from campus security end up part of a SWAT team that was unaliving people? I don't know. Yeah, it almost doesn't sound real, does it, Shauna? No, that was true. I got looking into this the last couple days and started to deep dive, and I was like, are you kidding me? So let's see here. Brent Kopacka. So I'm going to start with this. This is his obituary. Probably an odd place to start, but maybe gives us a little bit of an idea as to what kind of individual he really was. So it says, it is with great sadness that our beloved son, Brent Lee Kopacka, went to heaven Thursday, December 15th, 2022, as a result of a traumatic brain injury sustained in combat in Afghanistan, which led to a 16-year ongoing battle with severe PTSD. Brent was born October 4th, 1986. Brent is survived by his mother, Darcy Nixon, and stepfather, David Nixon, and father, John F. Kopacka, and stepmother, Dawn M. Kopacka. Brent was the oldest sibling to Tori L., David, Zachary J. Kopacka, Ethan J. Kopacka, ooh, big family, Evan M. Kopacka, and Elowyn O. Kopacka, and is uncle to 3 nephews and 1 niece. Brent proudly served in the U.S. Army from 2005 to 2009 in the 2nd Battalion, 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment, 4th Brigade Combat Team, 82nd Airborne Division. Brent was awarded the Purple Heart for his services in Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan by volunteering to serve in the U.S. Army during a time of war. Brent proved himself to not only a man of great dedication, but also selfless servant of the people of our nation. Brent epitomized the values and standards that all paratroopers strive to achieve. Brent's valor in the face of the enemy is a great credit to his character. Those who knew Brent knew him as a loving, caring, and very loyal friend. He was loved by his family and friends. Brent always enjoyed remembering people on his birthday and on their birthdays, and special occasions. Brent enjoyed the outdoors. He would send pictures and updates to friends and loved ones of new places and new adventures he was on. He loved to experience new places, so it was hard for him to settle down in one spot, which is fair. Brent made friends everywhere he went while always staying in touch with the old. Over the course of the past 16 years, Brent fought a courageous battle against PTSD, but in the end, he could not break free. Please learn all you can about post-traumatic stress disorder. This stuff is not a joke. So you'll have an understanding of the toll it takes on our veterans, their families, and their friends. Make sure your loved ones seek help that they need. And then it tells about the arrangements. So he did all of that for our country. Well, for the U.S., and he ended up in a casket. Some bitch, man. I wonder how they're going to explain the receipt from Amazon. Oh, yes. Well said. For that knife that belongs in that sheath. Because no, it doesn't sound like he can produce it, right, friend? I think the knife It looks like it came from Amazon, that knife and sheath. It's the way it's looking. I agree. Yeah, it does look like he bought one, so where is it? There's things like, his alibi. People are saying, well, he could have an alibi. Well, if he had an alibi, we wouldn't be sitting in this position. He wouldn't be sitting in the hoosegow for what he did. I don't know. In my opinion, Kohberger needs to fry. And it's my opinion that, yeah, this is something he did. Okay. So, man killed in officer-involved shooting ID'd. So this is back to 2022. But, as with other cases, it's always good in my mind to kind of look back at the information we had originally, because especially a case like this, like, it's huge. It is a huge, huge case. So there is plenty that a person forgets. Like Buddy the dog. Whatever happened to Buddy the dog's unaliver, And then something very, very strange. There's a picture of this little kind of shrine thing in the apartment that Brent Kopacka was staying in. These guys there's this like sword, this great big sword thing. And it's got this blue material tied up. Well, in the video that I watched earlier, I'm not saying this is the truth. I'm saying this looks awfully close to, it looks like the dog collar Buddy was wearing. That's what it looks like, tied on to a great big machete type thing. I'm going to see if I can find that picture because, I hope not. But it might explain why this hasn't happened again. So the Whitman County Coroner's Office announced Monday that 36-year-old Brent Lee Kopacka passed away Thursday during an incident. No. Hey, Lizzie. No. Right in front of me. Sorry, guys. So, Thursday during an incident at the 1000 block of S Southeast Latah Street in Pullman. So again, that's just around the corner from Bryan Kohberger. The coroner stated in a news release that the cause of death was a gunshot wound. Now, this is what I found interesting. The manner of death was ruled a homicide. So, how does that work? If you get unalived by a SWAT team, is that typically considered a homicide? I'm not sure about that. Manner of death was ruled a homicide. So does that mean that the little security guard turned SWAT guy could be liable? I tried to look and I couldn't find anything. The name of the officer who shot him has not been released. A Washington State Patrol trooper told the Daily News. The Washington State University Police Department will soon release the officer's name after going through procedures and policies. I wasn't able to find it in this. Like I say, these are older ads or articles. According to past reporting, the Pullman Police Department responded to the 1000 block of Southeast Latah Street on Wednesday evening to report a man allegedly threatening to unalive his roommates in their apartment. Officers tried to speak to the man, now identified as Kopacka, who barricaded himself inside the apartment. Now, I have not seen, I know that they emptied that apartment block, like they got everybody out of there, because I have not heard one thing about his roommates being in there at the time this happened. So Whitman County requested assistance from the Washington State Patrol later that night, Pullman police crisis negotiators and the Whitman regional SWAT team responded, but Kopacka began to fire inside the apartment. So it didn't sound to me like he was aiming at them, aiming outside. It sounds like he was like letting it off in the apartment, which is still really dangerous. So with that, Kopacka was fatally unalived by a SWAT team member early Thursday morning. According to past reporting, the SWAT team took action after negotiations failed. Kopacka's behavior intensified and the situation continued to pose a danger to the community and the officers. Kopacka was found unalived by the SWAT team after they cleared the apartment. Funeral homes posted Kopacka's obituary Monday afternoon, stated he was a veteran who served the U.S. Army from 2005 to 2009. So he did get a Purple Heart for his services, and he sustained a traumatic brain injury during the combat in Afghanistan, which is why he has the PTSD. How did they feel okay about unaliving this guy? It's not sounding very good to me. I mean, maybe they'll come up with a good reason, but if that building was empty and he's not aiming at anybody, why was he unalived? Could they not have? I don't know. I don't like this. No. Let's see here. Let me see here. No. The guy that unalived Bryan was a security guard at the Washington campus where Bryan both went to school and was working as an assistant. So, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. According to past reporting, the case was passed to a Palusi Area Law Enforcement Critical Incident Response Team and the Washington State Parole, who are currently investigating the incident. Washington law requires an independent agency to complete further investigation when an officer uses deadly force. Well, this is good. The SWAT team is composed of officers from the Pullman Police Department, the Whitman County Sheriff's Office, and the WSU Police. How comforting. More information will be provided. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. Wow. Crazy, this world. Okay, where is it? Yeah, I know. You're right, James. Like, you're absolutely right. It's just, you think of this guy, he was so dedicated to his country and what have you, and it seems like, um, maybe his thanks was getting, oh, look at me. Maybe his thanks was kind of like getting unalived and no help for his mental condition. I don't know. Maxie, how you doing, friend? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. So, let's see here. The man who was unalived in Pullman standoff identified by coroner. So these were the apartments, like I say, this is where Brent Kopacka was staying. And then not far from here is just like a couple of minutes and you are at Bryan Kohberger's residence. do, do. Same, same. Same, same. Oh, what do I hear? Something's coming. Ah, there we go. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay. Oh, hey, Dave. Good to see you, friend. Okay. What's going on? Oh, okay, okay, okay. I could hear this and I wasn't finding it. So, Pullman man who was fatally shot by a SWAT officer, or in brackets, WSU security guard, after threatening roommates he was identified as an Army vet. That just makes me sad. Oh, look at that big gun. What? What is he looking for over there? Okay then. So let's see here. Okay, now here it says began firing from his apartment. At which point the residents were evacuated. After unsuccessful negotiations, escalating behavior, and continued danger, the male was shot by a member of the Whitman Regional SWAT team, or brackets, your local security guard. How does that work? They ever have that place lit up? So here they're saying, I didn't click on this one. I don't even know if I've got it open, but I can look. It says that they are unrelated to Idaho unalivings unrelated to Pullman police SWAT activity near Washington campus, cops say. So if they haven't arrested anybody at this point, how the hell do they know that? My lovelies. His manner of death, again, homicide by gunshot. That's pretty strange wording, isn't it? And that is according to the coroner, Annie Pillars. And we do know that he ended up with a traumatic brain injury, got himself a Purple Heart, and had been battling PTSD for the past 16 years. Fought a courageous battle against PTSD. Can you imagine? You got PTSD due to a war and these things going off all the time, right? And outside of your apartment are all of these big things with these little red dots aiming at you. You don't think that's gonna like freak out a guy that is having some kind of mental breakdown due to PTSD and from a war? Like, look at that. It's enough to make me poop my pantyhose. 15 minutes and about 9 miles from the crime scene in Moscow, Idaho. The proximity of the Pullman incident to the U of I led some concern among locals and speculation that the two events could be related, but the Pullman authorities say they do not believe there is any connection, and typically quiet college towns, and the two typically quiet towns have been on edge since November 13th. Yeah, just a little. And then comes Bryan. Oh, give me 2 seconds. Have you guys watched Rabbit Hole? Rabbit Hole. Oh, I think you're right. I think Bryan had such a hard time bonding with people. It'd be hard for him to work with anybody. I agree with you. Mm. Yeah. And then he and his dad left for that cross country tour. And like the morning prior, his dad mentioned it in a stop. And wouldn't the cop who fired have been ordered? Would that be diminished responsibility? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm going to put a hat on, damn it. Um, very much sus. Wonder if the defense will be able to prove they know each other and say he was framed. Oh my god. No! Can't imagine BK come to my house and sit on the floor, loner to me. Right? Yeah, come on over. Grab a, slide up a piece of, I don't know, tile. You see? And the thing is even when Bryan was going to university, let me see, I think I might have this down. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, like I heard one guy talking earlier. I thought maybe I had it down here in my notes, but one fellow was saying, how do you know that they weren't roommates at one point when Bryan was going to school? Where was it? In Idaho? Where was he going to school last? I think there's a really good chance that he had been in that house before, Dave. I agree with you, friend. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Tomorrow's a holiday for you guys, right? And what happened to Buddy? Like, who unalived Buddy? It could have. Do you think it could have been Brent Kopacka? I'm gonna see before I go in here with you guys. I'm gonna see if I put Brent Kopacka and Buddy together. If I um, I don't. I was hoping there was a picture of the roommates. It's almost like a shrine. It's like freaky, and there was that thing that looks like a blue dog collar. It does look like Buddy's dog collar. I'm sure it's not, right? Holiday. Woohoo! Yesterday was ours. We're July 1st, so no. A couple days ago. There we go. See why I don't leave the house? So, the more than 6 weeks after the 4 college students were unalived in an off-campus house in Moscow, Idaho, police arrest a suspect. Bryan Christopher Kohberger is charged in their deaths. He was a fugitive from justice, and there was warrants for his parents' home, which they took advantage of. They took out lots of knives, lots of sharp-edged objects from that place. So his arraignment on May 22nd, he did not respond, and that's when the judge pled for him. So there might have something, we were talking the other day, there might be something to do with the grand jury information being possibly the reason why that route was taken. So they said here, this is Monroe County Chief Public Defender Jason Labar, who represented Kohberger for his extradition hearing in Pennsylvania, told CBS, that police said they knocked on the Kohberger's door around 3 a.m. December 30th, and both of the parents and the suspect were very cooperative. He was standing in the kitchen with his gloves on, going through garbage and separating stuff into baggies. Not suspect at all. So he was extradited back to Idaho. Why am I drawing a blank as to where his other university was? So he said he was very calm. He's been very calm. He's very aware. He understands the proceedings. I did discuss with him what to expect in the upcoming days on his transport. And this is the place and time where Kohberger said he will be fully exonerated. It's a little out of character, he said. I mean, this is not him. Labar said he believes he's going to be exonerated. That's what he believes. Those are his words. Who is Bryan Kohberger? Born on November 21st, 1994. In 2018, he finished his associate degree in psychology at Northampton Community College. And then, there we go, went to complete his bachelor's degree at DeSales University. There we go. So there has been made mention on some of the other things that I have read that people are wondering if maybe that these two are roommates. There's nothing saying that they were. There's nothing even pointing in that direction, but it is something that's floating around out there. At the time of his arrest, he was a PhD criminology student and teaching assistant at the WSU, where the SWAT teams work. Unfreaking real. So, in a separate statement released the following day, WSU's Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology said it was relieved that justice will be carried out. So it looks like maybe they are saying that they think he's guilty. So one thing I found really interesting is one of the things that's floating around out there is that, well, you know, they didn't find any more DNA in his parents' house. There was no DNA in his car. But they did not say they did not find any more DNA in 1122, which, you know, if you read between the lines when it comes to this, these legal papers, it makes me wonder what the hell's going on with that. Yeah. I just thought it was odd that it was in Moscow. It was the Sharp, those things. And his last name was Rogers, like Papa Rogers, right? I still think that he was Papa Rogers in all of those Reddits and what have you. Pure Dexter. Dun, 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 dun. I do believe. Yeah. And like Dave is saying, I do. I think the same thing. I think he knew exactly where he was going that night. Yeah, those jabby, stingy things. Jasmine. Those things. So, I found this interesting too. A neighbor who asked not to be identified told CBS News that Kohberger had asked if he had heard about those deaths, which I did. And then Kohberger comes out with, they have no leads. Seems like it was a crime of passion. How would he even have a clue what they were thinking, saying? There was nothing out by that time. We had a ways to wait before there was any kind of news on what was going on with this case. So I'm pretty sure the only in he may have had was the one that he snuck in and did all these things, in my opinion. One fellow graduate student in criminology and criminal justice department at WSU said to the Associated Press that the news of Kohberger's arrest was pretty out of left field. Ben Roberts said he took several of courses with Kohberger after the two started a program together in August. Kohberger was always looking for a way to fit in. Roberts said Kohberger would find the most complicated ways to explain something. Well, it doesn't mean he's intelligent. Usually, intelligent people are trying to figure out how to talk like the average person without confusing the hell out of us. So he was described as very calm, very intelligent, and that he was shocked by the arrests. I say his arrest. I don't know. So it also says here that the parents had spoke to this Labar and said this is out of character for their son, which I find a little bit kind of bewildering, being that his sister sure thought that it was possibly him. I mean, they went through, at least one of them went through his vehicle. And who does that? Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah. And yeah, they did. Everyone has said that they have cooperated fully with law enforcement. They don't believe it to be Bryan. They can't believe this. They're obviously shocked. This is certainly completely out of character, the allegation said Labar. And really, they're just trying to be supportive with the understanding these four families have suffered a loss and they're sympathetic towards them. So this was a while back, so I'm not going to go. We've gone through most of this quite a few times, talking about the Elantra and the probable cause affidavit. I hope not. Yeah, I know, Shauna. I sure hope not. But it was pointed out, and I have to say, like, sure could be. I can't eliminate it. People are sick. So. Bryan Kohberger, the criminology student. This is back in December. And let's see here. What did I have in here that I wanted to talk to you about? Got his Bachelor of Science in Psychology at a private Catholic university. Again, they're talking about the Hyendian here and them looking for that Elantra. So this was a while back. So I'm curious, what the heck did I have in here for you guys? Oh, so Ben Roberts, a graduate student in the Criminology and Criminal Justice Department at WSU, described Kober as confident and outgoing. That's a first. But seems like he was always looking for ways to fit in. So we know more than just DNA has put him in that house. They've got the phone records. They've got. Give me a second here. Yeah, they've got their phone records. They've got all of the social media. Still, we don't know. Was he tracking one of those girls? Did he really have pictures of those girls in his, or at least one of those girls in his wallet? Yeah. What the hell, Bryan Kohberger? In the nearly 2 months since he was arrested at his parents' home, past classmates, acquaintances have called Kohberger a creepy loner who morphed from a bullied teen into an aggressive adult. That's from the New York Post. And that's more along the lines that I was seeing. Not so much that, get down. Not so much that he was like confident and outgoing. That's not how I have him in my mind. So again, I made note that they are still kind of making a deal out of the other two DNA hits. But with that said, from what I'm hearing, it's also being kind of what I thought. They're not saying where this DNA was. So it could have been on a door handle. It could, that multiple people, think of all the parties, all the people that come and go and come from there. And was it from a cup, a coffee mug that was in the sink? So many things can be explained away. But Bryan's DNA being on a sheath underneath of Maddie Mogan, explain that one. That's pretty damn hard. So the other DNA was the one that was found on a glove that was just outside of the property. It was Chris McDonough that found that. So that there is highly unlikely to have been part of this case at all. It's winter. Kids are running around even though they're all in their 20s, early 20s, they're still out messing around. And it could have been lost in a lot of different ways. A lot of people park their cars up there. So that could have been a thing. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to come back up here. Sorry, guys. Yes, we are all winners here, Shauna. Okay. Every margarita makes it a little better. So whose ID did Bryan Kohberger have? So I don't know. That's a really good question. They're saying now that it was nobody associated with that house. I don't know about that, right? Because that's not how it was explained at first. And yeah, absolutely a potential stalker. Everything kind of points to that. I'd like to see this guy plead. I don't need, well, unless the families, I mean, that's hard. You want what the families want. But I don't think we all need to hear what the hell happened in that house. Oof, da. Yeah, the bloody footprint. So, with that footprint, that was not, I don't think that was an actual bloody footprint because it was something that did not show up under like the naked eye. So, it doesn't sound like it was smeared. Where did it come from? I mean, I guess like it's possible they have thrown that out there, but at the same time, they're also saying it could have been anything. They didn't notice that until the second time they were in that house. So, yeah. So, yeah. But in the PCA, it sounds like identification was found in the glove box. But I think it's the wording. An identification found in a glove in a box. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that footprint was not visible. The IDs were in a closet, in a box, inside a rubber glove. Totally normal, because that's what you do. Yeah, I don't know. I sometimes think the way they word those documents throws people off. Well, it does. Like, I find I have to read things over quite a few times, depending on what it is, to kind of get what they're saying. The first time you read it, it can sound fairly pretty much a nothing burger. And then you read it again, it's like, oh, wait a minute here. Just wait a minute here. Okay, I want to see what I had up here. Brent Kopacka actually looked like a very friendly individual. It's very sad that this had to happen. What's going on here now? So, guys, what do you think? Anything from what we've learned make you think that maybe Kopacka could have had something to do with this? I'm still kind of doubting it. They haven't convinced me. But I can't eliminate it either, right? It's one of those, dandy. Oh my word. So yeah, I'm not quite so sure here about Kopacka. To me, it's almost sounding. Again, you can't eliminate it, but they're gonna have to give me a little bit more. There's a lot of things that are really curious about. There's some things that have been said and done that make me really, really curious about some of the similarities here, but I don't know. This has got to be the most confusing. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey. There we go. Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Did Kopacka have anything to do with 1122? I'm gonna say I'm leaning towards no with anything as possible, right? Is where I'm gonna hang out. If I hear anything more, I will like get it out to you with this. But there's lots of things happening in lots of cases right now, isn't there? Sometimes, like I said, taking a look. Hello, Connor. Good to see you, friend. Haven't seen you for a while. Scroll around in chat there. They've been up to no good, those kids. So yeah, I'm going to say as it stands now, I don't have like enough information that's going to put him there in my mind. But Kohberger, 100%. I'm still very much thinking Kohberger is the guy. Too many little things, and then you've got DNA on top of all of those little things. That was like what? One in like how many octillion? I don't think that DNA that they found, the other three, I don't think that that's got anything to do with this. And you know, the people are talking about Papa Rogers. I still want to know where that guy went because he seemed to stop talking at the same time that Papa Rogers stopped talking. And last week we watched, red flags everywhere, friend. Yeah. We know that the defense was asking for body cam footage, cell phone analysis, and all the different tips from LE. And they're asking for the grand jury. All the documents went from when the grand jury convened. From what I've heard, that's not really something that usually happens. But no use. I mean, you may as well try, right? And then they're tearing down 1122. That concerns me a little bit. I mean, there is the biohazard would be tremendous for those soon to be jurors to go through. I don't know if it would be safe as far as that goes, even. But being that that house was kind of a jigsaw, they might want to know how you could hear things in certain rooms. Could you be over by one window and hear something from upstairs? Can you be in Xana's room and can you be heard by Dylan's door? It's an unusual house, so it's going to be tricky to get like an actual accurate take as to how sound travels in that house. We know that it helped Alex, didn't it? Alex Murdoch. It helped him go to jail. Yeah, Shannon Gray was even saying, showing the layout to the proximity to other houses. And when I'm thinking about that, I think about Xana's room being so close to that camera in that neighbor's house. Yeah, it's not pretty, is it, James? There's, okay, Jay Logston, one of Kohberger's attorneys, also said in a court filing that there's no evidence of a connection between the victims and Kohberger. Well, I'm not so sure about that yet. Yeah, it is like a box built house. It looks like a Lego house to me. Like kind of like a little Lego house that you snapped together when I was a kid. So no explanation for the total lack of DNA evidence in the apartment, the office, the parents' home, or the vehicle. But they do not say, itchy nose, they do not say anything about more DNA being or not being at 1122. And with their analysis of that DNA on the sheath, the number is 5.37 octillion times more likely to be from Kohberger. So I don't know. They're making a big thing about how they got to find Kohberger, like how the DNA, what the DNA and the genealogy tree, how those two things put together led to Bryan Kohberger. I'm not so sure that that much matters. You can correct, like, let me know what you think, but I don't think that much matters. They found him. And again, 5.37 octillion times more likely to be from Kohberger than anybody else. And then, I don't know, that's not even a number I knew existed. Unreal. So they are saying that at this point they're wanting the trial for October 2nd, and they're saying 8:30 a.m. and it's going to take about 6 weeks to wrap this up, they're saying. So, accused Idaho attacker Bryan Kohberger allegedly had multiple photos of one of the female victims on his phone, suggesting that he may have been specifically paying attention to her. And that's also in the New York Post. Like, how do you explain that? Someone you are not supposed to know, and you're carrying her picture around on your phone multiple times. And they're also saying that that is the same person that he was following on that social media platform, liking everything she put out. They confirmed that Kohberger had more than one photo. It was very clear that he was paying attention to her. Though investigators are tight-lipped on the Pennsylvania native's possible ties to the victim, cell phone data included in a probable cause affidavit revealed that he may have stalked the neighborhood multiple times in the months before. And I think we're up to what, 12? Yeah, is it 8 billion? Like, yeah. So between us and a few other galaxies, maybe they could find a match. He's an incredible zero. Okay, where was I? I guess I go back there. Yeah, big zero. A creepy loner who morphed from a bullied teen into an aggressive adult. And this is coming from past classmates, they're saying. Jordan, okay, Sue, okay. Cerulnek, the owner of Seven Sirens Brewing Company in Bethlehem, PA. So that is the area that he was going to school in or uni in. And that's the same area that Brent Kopacka was in at the time. So that is a little bit interesting in my mind that they were that close. But what this Jordan said is the last month that Kohberger was around, he had had a history of harassing women at the bar. He'd have 2 or 3 beers and then just get a little too comfortable, he recalled, noting that Kohberger got upset when a woman rebuffed his advances. Yeah. Several galaxies, yes. Yeah, I have him as a loner, somebody who sits in the back of the room. I see him being uncomfortable in social surroundings. I think you're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right. So, as for things that his lawyer is asking for right now is to turn over key police and FBI files. They said that they would like to know how he was discovered, linked to a white Hyundai. And they are saying, the prosecution is saying, that they've already turned over 51 terabytes of files and that basically they have everything that they have at this point. But there is a date in July here where everything has to be turned in. So everyone's, yeah, cajillions, James. That's it, cajillions. 27 zeros in an octillion. So yeah. So Ann Taylor also said that they need the training records of 3 individual police officers that interviewed what she says were critical witnesses. Kohberger's defense also asked for the FBI files. And Idaho prosecutors said they would need weeks to source the documents and added that they turned over 1,300 pages of reports, 13,000 photos, 10,000 tips, and 51 terabytes of files to Kohberger's team. Whoa, hey? So, I don't know. Did he or didn't he help Kohberger? Still leaning towards no. I can't. I think this guy had a terrible time in the war. I think he came out of that whole situation damaged. Fair enough. And I also believe that the government, somebody should have taken better care of Brent Kopacka. And I also believe Kohberger is still guilty. Guilty. That is a buttload of zeros. 27 zeros in an octillion. Unreal. So hopefully, we'll see what comes this next week. You guys are holidaying tomorrow. Happy July 4th to y'all. And I'll be doing my thing here. It's a normal day for us, as I was saying. So I'll be doing my thing here, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next one. He looks guilty, my lord. Okay, friends, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I'll see you guys in the next one.